Welcome back to Semantic Pragmatic discussion. I'm going to continue the discussion with pragmatic meaning. As I said before, pragmatics is the speaker's intended meaning. It is the same as associative meaning, emotive meaning, and invisible meaning. What do we mean by invisible meaning? The invisible meaning is the meaning that is not visible, that is not obviously detected when you read a text. For example, the invisible meaning of the term, I already gave the example of the zoo. When you say, let's go to the zoo, the invisible meaning is a club for music in London. Or the invisible meaning of the word ring. The invisible meanings are commitment, dedication, or responsibility, or even marriage. The term candle has got semantic and pragmatic considerations. The semantic meaning of the term candle is an object, but basically the pragmatic meaning of the term candle mean, for instance, light, knowledge, romantic relationship. It creates the association of birthdays. So these are associative meanings of the term, or pragmatic meanings of the term candle. Again, another important issue in this regard is the idea of subjective and objective meaning. The objective meaning is scientific meaning of a term. That is the classical conventional meaning, which is a semantic meaning. For example, a pen. That is the objective meaning is the semantic meaning. That is an instrument for writing on a paper, for instance. But the subjective meaning of the term pen is, or the pragmatic meaning of the term pen is education. Knowledge, is understanding, is inspiration. These are pragmatic or subjective meanings of the term. By subjectivity, or when it says something is subjective, we mean that it is not conventional. It is not semantic. So subjectivism equates the idea of relativism. For example, love is subjective, beauty is subjective, faithfulness is subjective, art is subjective. So these terms are subjective, and they indicate the pragmatic meaning. Let me recap now. Today I talked about the differences between semantic and pragmatic meanings, and again I recapitulate the main points. Semantic meanings of a term are the conventional, objective, decontextualized, core, dictionary, primary, literal meanings of their words. On the contrary, the pragmatic meanings are the secondary, non-core, associative, emotive, invisible meanings of the words. Another important consideration in this regard is the idea of inferential meaning. The inferential meaning the referential meaning. The referential meaning is basically always, the referential meaning is semantic. And it includes the semantic features of the word. So when we talk about semantics, we are not dealing with cultural understanding. We are not dealing with context. We are not dealing with associative meanings. We are not dealing with emotions or emotive meanings. So semantic meanings are basically dictionary meanings, the first meanings of a term. I'll give you another example. For instance, lion or a tiger. Like tiger, the semantic meaning is an animal with certain semantic features. Two-legged animal, also animate, plus four-legged, plus animate, plus animal, plus any, what else? Non minus human, plus male or plus female. These are the semantic features of the term tiger. However, and this is the referential meaning, this is the main meaning, this is the dictionary meaning, this is the first meaning, this is the primary meaning. However, when we say, for example, he is a tiger, this is not semantic meaning. This is a pragmatic meaning. This is the connotative meaning, not the denotative meaning. Semantic meaning is denotative meaning. Pragmatic meaning is connotative meaning. What are the connotations associated with the term tiger? It means dangerous, powerful, probably savage, probably aggressive, hunting animal. So when you say these characteristics are like he's a tiger or he's like a tiger, this is the pragmatic meaning. We mean that the associations, the subjective and emotive meanings associated with the term tiger. So tiger as an animal is basically semantic meaning, and tiger with the association related to or attributed to a human being of courage, bravery, aggression, power are pragmatic meanings. So emotive meaning by definition is pragmatic meaning. Another so reactions, emotive meaning related to reactions of the listeners or readers to a particular word. For example, I say Kaskalan. The term Kaskalan has got a semantic meaning, that is geographically a town located near Almaty in Kazakhstan. However, it has pragmatic meanings emotive meanings for all individuals, because the people who live in Kaskalan find it very nice and beautiful and lovely, and on the contrary, some other people who are not living in Kaskalan might find it boring and tedious and whatnot. So I get back to the important notions of semantic relations. Also, semantic relations are important. The semantic relations are synonymous, synonymy, antonymy, hyponymy, homophones. These are how semantic or the words are related to each other. That is, we call them semantic relations. Also, please read semantic relations. In terms of semantic also, what I want to emphasize is that semantics is basically the objective first meaning of the word. In pragmatics, there are two concepts that are absolutely significant. One is presupposition, and the other one is inferencing. Presuppositions are assumptions made by the listeners or by the speakers about the common background information. And the inferencing are made by the listeners or the readers. For instance, when I say the Chancellor of STU University went to Kaskalan yesterday, as a speaker, I make some assumptions or some presuppositions that you know this individual as the Chancellor of the University of STU, and I take it for granted that you know that you have got the background information that Kaskalan is a city, that STU stands for Suleiman Demirel University. These are all presuppositions that are made by me as a speaker, and and I assume that you know about it, and I assume that you have the background information. Otherwise, there is no communication. So I make the presupposition, and as a listener or a reader, you make the inferencing. You get the meaning. Inferencing means that you get the intended meaning to understand the intended meaning. So basically, inferencing is carried out by the listener or by the reader. So the necessary conditions for any communication to take place is basically the proper appropriate presuppositions and inferencing. The other important idea that I want to talk about in terms of pragmatics is direct and indirect speech acts. Direct speech acts and indirect speech acts. What is a speech act? A speech act is an utterance or a sentence with a function. Easy definition. A speech act is an utterance or a sentence with a function. It might be direct or indirect. You have the dichotomous categorization of form and function. So any utterance has a form and a function. It might be direct speech act or indirect speech act. For instance, I say, give me some money. This is a direct speech act. The speaker intended meaning, the pragmatic meaning is directly assigned to you, and you got the meaning, and you provide the individual with money. Okay, I say, give me some money, and you give some money back, and you lend some money to me. This is direct speech act, and you get the speaker's intended meaning. But sometimes the speech act is indirect, because you are shy, you are polite, maybe your relationship is not intimate, and you are in dire straits about money, you have no money whatsoever. As a student, sometimes you have no money in your pocket, on your purse, on your wallet, so you are desperate, you're hungry, you are starving to death, and you don't know what to do, and you cannot call your father or your mom, because you already have been given money, and you're running out of money. So what you do now is you find somebody on the way, one of the classmates, and say, hey, you know what happened? I was robbed. I was robbed by a guy on Mashrutka, and basically I have no money whatsoever. It's an indirect speech act. It means I need money. This is the speaker's intended meaning. The intended meaning is the function of the speech act. That I don't have money, please give me some money. So, indirect speech acts and direct speech acts are a part of pragmatic studies. For instance, you say, open the door. Open the door, please. This is a direct speech act in pragmatic studies. But sometimes you say, oh, I feel it's warm in here. It's warm in here. It's warm. It's hot. I'm feeling hot. It means indirectly, this is an indirect speech act. You're asking your friend, open the window, open the door. So also this category is important. So how much more time have we got? I can talk incessantly, continuously for 2 hours or 5 hours. What is the limit? There is no limit for this? No limit?
No.
I can talk for 2 hours? Yeah. Oh, really? So is it possible? But it's not possible to share. That's the problem. Yes?
We'll divide it into parts.
So basically, probably 5 minutes more. Yeah. I want to recap the whole discussion. As I said, the main components of any language are syntax, semantics, pragmatics, morphology or word formation, and phonology or phonetics. Phonetics. So what is syntax? Syntax is the word order or word sequence. Semantics is the study of word meaning out of the context or conventional meaning of the words. Pragmatics is the study of speakers or writers' intended meaning. Phonetics is the study of speech sounds, and it encapsulates three kinds of phonetics, 3 branches: articulative phonetics, acoustic phonetics, and auditory phonetics. We have already discussed these issues in these considerations in the class. However, what I want to do now is to give you a very succinct summary of the interface or relationship between semantics and syntax. So the semantics and syntax, you've got to be very careful. You've got to know what the speaker's intended meaning is. So, as I said, pragmatic meanings are cultural meanings. I always give the idea of going to the zoo. That is a pragmatic meaning of a nightclub or a music club in London, or talking about red or blue or yellow and red as football teams in here or in England. They are pragmatic. They have pragmatic meanings. So, to give you a brief summary, again, I'd like to touch on the idea of the pragmatic meanings if I can. So I give you only the topics now, and I organize it, and I'm going to finish the discussion. I talked about semantics, about the meaning, semantic features, minus, plus. I talked about semantic relationships, or semantic roles as agent and theme, instrument and experiencer, location, source and goal. Lexical relations are synonymy, antonymy, hyponymy, prototypes, homophones and homonyms, polysemy and metonymy, and collocation. So what is very briefly, I want to talk about these. I think you know the idea of, I talk about lexical relationships. What are lexical relationships in semantics? Synonyms, you already know synonyms. Synonyms are the words which have got similar semantic features. They have similar semantic features. Easy. What is a synonym? Words with similar semantic features are synonyms. For example, almost and nearly, large and big, similar semantic features. So they can be basically substituted with others. For example, he's a large guy. You can say he's a big guy. He's a massive guy. Huge guy. This is basically similar semantic features. Antonymy is the opposite of that. For example, they have got opposite semantic features. For instance, alive and dead, big and small. So what are antonyms? Antonyms have got opposite semantic features. Buy, sell, happy, sad. It's easy. The next one is prototype. Prototype. Prototipes. What is a prototype? A prototype is your conception of objects and phenomena. So, it's the typical example in your brain, based on your country or based on your culture. And it helps explain the meaning. So, for example, when I say animal, what brings in your mind? What is animal? Prototype. What is in your mind? What?
Living creation.
Like living creature.
No. What? An example of an animal. Horse. Dog. Lion. What brings in you? I say animal. Don't think. What is animal? Fox. So you say different prototypes, but prototypes are shaped by brain and by culture. For example, prototypes are different in different countries. When I say animal to my Indian students, all of them say cow or elephant.
Yes.
This is culture. When I say to Kazakh students, all of them say horse. Hey teacher, horse, which means prototypes. Mental image of sample. The mental image of a sample of everything. For example, I say food. Beş parmak. That is prototype. If you say Italian, pizza. If you say a Turkish guy, doner. These are prototypes. For everything there is a prototype. For example, I say woman. Mother or mother. In England, in US they say, for example, Kim Kardashian. That's the mother, maybe. In England they may say Adele. Comes to the debate. Cultural. It's very cultural. So man, what is typical in your mind? What is it small or is big? Big and muscular. This is typical. But these are prototypes. Prototypes are examples in the brain shaped by culture. All right. If I say to the sometimes there is no prototype because there is no experience, there is no culture. For example, to a Saudi Arabian, you say snow. They have no conceptions. But for you, you can have different kinds of snow, maybe. Morning snow, New Year snow, different snows. I say camel. Maybe you have no prototype. But for an Arab, maybe 100 prototypes, different kinds of, so prototypes are culturally shaped, all right? And that is part of semantics. Then, what is polysemy? Polysemy, I give you meanings, words with different meanings. So there are polysemous. We encounter 2 or more words with the same form and related meanings. What is typical? So polysemy is words with the same form and related meaning. What is polysemy? The polysemy. The same word, the same form and related meanings. Poly means many, and semi means meaning. Polysemy, many meanings. Can be defined as one form having multiple meanings that are all related by extension. For example, head is a polysemy. Why is it a polysemy? It is a head on your body.
Also, the director can also.
The head of the department, head of the organization, head of the tribe. One word, different meanings. Polysemy. Okay. What is metonymy? Metonymy. M-E-T-O-N is page 139. Metonymy, 139. Metonymy is the relatedness of meaning found in polysemy is essentially based on similarity. For example, it's similar to that using of the word in as a the connection can be based on container contents relationship. For example, bottle and water, can and juice, a whole part relationship. So, for example, you say I have no roof over my head.
You have no house.
I have no roof means I have no house. Metonymy. Roof stands for London was awake the whole night. Metonymy. What does it mean?
It was loud.
London was awake the whole night last night.
There were a lot of people in the night.
People of London, not the city. I have read Shakespeare.
I have read his work.
His books, not Shakespeare himself. This is metonymy. Something stands for something else. Okay? Castellan was busy yesterday.
There was
A lot of traffic jams.
People of Castellan, they were Castellan was noisy.
A lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic, a lot of people. You know? That's it. The next is collocation. You know collocation? Page 139, collocation. It means the order or sequence of the words, of vocabulary items. It's not syntax. Let me give you more precise definition. For instance, let's say men and women, yes? Ladies and gentlemen. Always you say collocation, ladies and gentlemen. What else? Can you give me an example? Odds and ends. Odds and ends. What else?
Mother and father.
Sorry?
Mother and father can be on the.
Mother and father. Yes. Brother and sister. This means you have to keep the sequence. They go together. You cannot say gentleman and lady. It's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. This is collocation. So I'm finishing this discussion now. Should I continue? Give more explanation, or that's enough? You think? That's enough. So today I talked about the differences between semantics and pragmatics, and came up with the idea that semantic meaning is primary, core, dictionary, first, referential meaning. It's visible meaning. Pragmatic meaning, by contrast, is connotative, is secondary, is non-core, non-referential, is cultural meaning, it is contextual meaning. So already I provided you with the table. Thank you so much for your attention, and have a lovely evening.